Anthony, it's great to see you, and thank you for joining us for our Startup Experts partner profile. I'm very interested in connecting with you today. Would you mind introducing yourself and tell us about Network Right?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jesse. So I'm Anthony. I'm a co-founder and CTO here at Network Right. Formerly also a solo HR manager. My last role turned IT. And Network Right, we're a fractional IT department for venture-backed companies. So think onboarding, offboarding, application management, kind of all the day-to-day IT stuff that needs to get done. We're just that dedicated team that can get it done for companies.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know you support a lot of, startups that are, up and to the right. Tell us a little bit about Network Right. What do you offer in particular, and how do you support these companies that are growing?
Our main bread and butter really is like the reactive and proactive IT offering, as well as the cybersecurity arm as well. The reactive piece is more so meant to like, hey, like I need the day-to-day IT help, stuff that kind of pops up on a day-to-day basis with the end user and teams and stuff. That's usually what we find is probably the most common. For the proactive piece, it's more around like, hey, we really want to grow this year, but we need to have a really good IT foundation. So like more thinking long-term vision strategy for the IT function. And to preface this too, we're not meant to be a forever IT team for your company, right? We want to help, we want to grow with your team, and then at a certain point, we'll taper off when you're maybe 200, 300 people, and you need to hire an internal IT director or IT team at that point. But for a lot of these companies, you're 20, 30, 40 people plus. IT is so fragmented across different support functions. Could be engineers, could be people teams, could be operations. And we want to kind of take on that responsibility on their behalf so they can kind of focus on what they do best.
Yeah, no, that's right. And, on behalf of Startup Experts, super appreciative of the partnership that we have. When we first met, well over a year ago now, you all came in, you looked at, what was going on at Startup Experts. In many ways, we're a startup ourselves, learning and growing and putting in systems. Your team did an excellent job of assessing, what we needed to do, what our goals are. Can you walk us through a little bit of how you would approach a new client and like what does that initial engagement look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the biggest thing is we don't want to over engineer anything. We want to keep things as simple as possible for our clients. So, coming into our onboarding process, we really want to take a deep dive into the employee experience. So, starting off with your onboarding and offboarding, and how are people getting help today? So a large kind of differentiation factor is that we try to meet people where they live. So in their tools specifically. So if you're in Slack, we're going to be in your Slack. If you Google, Microsoft, emails, we're going to have an email as well, and people can get in touch with us as well. So we want to make it as easy as possible, but it really starts off at like the employee level of like, how are people getting help today? Are they having to go to the Apple store to get IT support for their computer, or are they able to talk to someone over Slack and Zoom to help triage and troubleshoot their issues in real time? That's kind of how we typically start off, I would say, is the onboarding, offboarding, understanding those scenarios and making those a lot more efficient, a lot better, and having tools talk better to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and certainly, those tools, those systems, optimize for employee performance. So, really
Right.
awesome that you all focus on that. As you're looking towards the next year, the world always is changing. Um, Share with us, kind of what you see in the future, what is top of mind in 2025?
Yeah, I think there's two big things that we're seeing as far as like pain points today, I would say, as far as our service goes, but also like looking beyond around like talking a bit more about like AI, for example, and the rise of cybersecurity threats as a result of AI. But I think the biggest thing that we're seeing right now is just there's so much fragmented IT management right now. Like you have tools, and I don't want to name drop tools like Rippling, for example, that offer an IT component to their platform that helps with the HRS and things around that sort. But if it's not implemented correctly, can really cause operational nightmares for the organization. Also security gaps as well. Um, what most leaders don't realize is that, they're spending time doing their job in IT, hunting down access to do XYZ or who has that access. They start to incur tech debt, and foundational processes and infrastructure are just non-existent. So I think when you're seeing companies today like that need to do more with less or maybe be more strategic, I think a lot of department leaders and even executive team members are asking, departments all over of like, how can you contribute to the organizational goals more effectively, right? Versus just doing these little projects for the interdepartment only, for example. Um, but uh, but I think talking through a bit more around like the future emerging trends in IT and what business should be looking for is AI. I think you see it all over the place. You're seeing it at conferences, you're seeing it on the news and billboards and all that stuff. But it's pretty evident that AI is coming for our jobs. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Total big joke there. But no, but seriously, companies are adopting AI and automation left and right. You're seeing marketing teams leverage it for content creation, customer success teams using it for like triaging support requests and even engineering for code optimization. I think you saw last year, I don't know if you saw that, but Lattice onboarded an AI agent to their platform,
I did see that.
which people are like, what the heck is that, right?
Yeah.
Um, Whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay. And they're really what that means is that there needs to be more of a governing body to support AI within the organization. There's an analogy I read recently where the NVIDIA CEO came out and said that IT is the HR for AI.
Mm.
And I thought that was quite interesting because a lot of that terminology and in terms of like people trying to implement AI more in their organization, we've been working lately with our clients to help them stay ahead of the technology curve and ensuring that they're doing it in a scalable and safe way.
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate that. And thank you again for being a thought partner, certainly looking at the startup experts and our systems and supporting all of our members in an ongoing way. I mean, that is
100%.
enormously supportive for our group. Going forward, how can people get in touch with you and the Network Right team?
Yeah, I'm on Slack, in the Startup Experts community. I'm pretty active on Slack on a daily basis. So I'd say reach out to me there. I'd be happy to have a chat, even if you just want some high level advice or want to be a sounding board really for you. I'm happy to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse.